On today's episode of Drummers Eating Pizza, John sits down with Jason Bittner to discuss his favorite pizza slices, his early start in drumming, and his friendships in the drumming community. Please like, share, and subscribe. And now, Drummers Eating Pizza.
All right, everybody. Drummers Eating Pizza. We got the amazing Jason Bittner from Shadows Fall. We did a lesson.
Category 7, too.
Category 7. We're going to talk about all his different things that he's doing. You can now hire me to play in your metal band because I took a lesson. I can play like 400 BPM.
Yup.
No. Nope. But it was an amazing lesson, Jason. I do appreciate, you taking time to do the lesson beforehand.
No problem.
All right, so we've got some pizza here from, where did we get this from?
We got this from I Love New York, which is originally based in Troy, New York, which is about 25 minutes away from here. Also the home of Stigmata, my old band for quite some time.
Nice.
Troy, New York, home of Uncle Sam. But I Love New York is pretty much all over the Capital District, and there's one 2 blocks away from my house here, so we decided to go there.
So there's multiple places.
There's multiple I Love New Yorks.
Oh, nice.
There's the original ones in Troy. There's one here. There's one in Clifton Park, and there's I think there's one in Colony too.
Yeah. So they're all over. So if you're in the New York, is it? Did you say there was one in Jersey or no? No, Clifton Park's New York. Yeah.
Clifton Park's New York.
This says I Love New York, not I Love New Jersey.
It's all right. But if you're on the Jersey Shore and you're near Neptune, go to Pete and Elda's because that's the greatest place in Jersey to get pizza. I know probably Pat's going to disagree with me tomorrow, but hey.
You know what? I'm gonna ask him.
See if he knows Pete and Elda's.
Yes.
He might not, but he might. It'd be interesting.
All right, so we've got our corner.
Sicilian.
Yeah. I took
Fresh mozzarella.
photos. Yeah, this looks really good.
It does.
And don't be afraid of the crunch and everything in there, because I do get comments from people that are like, "I really like your show, but I can't stand when you guys eat the pizza."
What's
I'm like,
the show called? It's called Drummers Eating Pizza.
I did have somebody that said, "What's next?
That's
Comedians
really
drinking coffee in cars, drummers eating pizza." And they asked me, "What are you going to do next? Drummers taking a shit?" I said, "If you will watch it and YouTube will let me post it, we'll try an episode out. Maybe."
You could do it. You could do it where you film the outside the stall, and you just see your feet and someone else's feet, and the echo of the interview.
Listen, this is going to happen now, and we're going to eat pizza in the stall, and you'll have to guess who the guest is on the show.
First is drummers eating pizza, and then it's drummers getting rid of pizza.
Oh, man.
This is really good.
This is good. You can taste the fresh mozzarella on this for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, sauce is good. Not too spicy.
I'm a go-to usually there. We got the chicken parm too. I get that a lot. They have a lasagna pizza that's really good, and they have, I don't know if you saw it, they have the baked ziti pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really good.
Yep.
My wife's like, "How can you eat pizza on top, pasta on top of
yeah.
pizza?" I'm like, very easy, just like this.
One of my favorite pizzas back home it's chicken parm pizza, but they do it like this, and they add the ziti on top. So it's like you have 2 or 3 slices, and you're like, I'm stuffed.
So let's talk about that, because I'm very familiar with your area, because that's where my band is from.
Yep.
Where the hell do you get pizza in Westfield anymore?
Valley Pizza.
Where's that?
It's if you know where the Mobile is in the center of town.
Yeah.
It's like right down that street. It's like Ryan's Liquors. It's like right by that. Like you're going. If the Mobile's on your left, you take a right, and it's like right there.
All right. I'll have to do that.
There's for like family owned that's been there. There's Pasquale's is still there. Family Pizza, they're right across the street from each other.
I used to go to Amalfi a lot. It was in that little strip mall, like right before the Mobile.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
but that's gone now.
They had a Gigi's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 places. Then he sold, and his son opened up that one out on Southampton Road.
Yep.
Like when you come off the pike and you
Yep.
would run.
Yep.
It is still open, but I think he did sell that as well. But yeah, Westfield isn't a mecca.
You know what else I missed
pizza.
too? Remember the Opa Opa
Oh yeah.
Steakhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, that place was so good.
Yep. Opa.
We're talking Western Mass things now.
Yeah. If you're from Western Mass, you know.
Or if you're playing a Western Mass band.
Yep. The home of all things metal, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Growing up, like to see, you guys, all these bands that came from Western Mass, Boston, the whole Massachusetts metal scene, and to be like, holy crap, like those guys got signed, those guys are on tour, those guys are on tour. It just seemed like, and like Jim Fogerty at Zing, it was like everybody was recording their demos of their first albums, and then they got
Adam
a lot
was
of
producing everything.
Yep. Yeah, Adam was going to produce our Max Tone album, which was total like pop. And I remember talking to Adam, and he's like, "We're going to be on tour. I can't do it, but I love that shit." Adam D, I guess, loves pop music and producing that type of stuff.
Does.
But
Yep.
he's also very good at producing metal stuff too.
Now he's in San Diego, so.
Yep. A little farther away.
Yep.
So you grew up with this because you're from Schenectady.
Yeah.
I thought you were from Western Mass,
Nope.
but clearly
Everybody
not.
does.
Yeah.
My career, everybody has thought that I've been from wherever my band is from. Mm-hmm. This goes back to the first band I mentioned from Troy, Stigmata, which was my hardcore band that I played in from 1994 until 2016, really, when we put our last record out. This is also the band where I met everybody in Shadows Fall, aside from John, because Stigmata used to play shows with Overcast all the time, which is Brian's old band, my singer. We played shows with Push Button Warfare, who was Paul and Zeus's old band. So I was already playing shows with my future bass player and producer 10 years before I was even in this band. So this is how incestuous this scene between New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut really is, and how we all did grow up together playing in the clubs before we even got in these bands, Shadows Fall, Unearthed, Kill Switch, All That Remains, that actually went on to do things. We had all known each other from just doing the local scene for years, the local and regional scene.
Yep.
So I kind of pride myself on that because I do love that point. But when I was in Stigmata, everybody's like, oh, you're from Troy. No, I'm from Schenectady, 20 minutes away. Just because I'm in Stigmata doesn't mean I'm from Troy. Then I get in Shadows Fall. Oh, you're from Massachusetts. No, I'm from New York. I go play in Flotsam. Oh, did you move to Phoenix now? No, still live in New York. Then when I got in Overkill, oh, you're from Jersey. No, I'm not from New York. I just play. I just don't have a band that's based here.
Yeah. So you're used to, I guess, what we're going to call the New York style pizza.
Yes.
You've had pizza in Western Mass, so it's different. It's a thicker crust. As a kid growing up, that's what I thought pizza was. I don't know. I think I went to New York the first time when I was 10.
Yeah.
So, I never had a thinner crust pizza. Is this your favorite kind of pizza?
Yeah.
Is a New York style pizza?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll go one further. The place that I did mention in Jersey, Pete and Elda's, it's just unbelievable. And it's thinner than this. This, yes, is thin crust. It's thin sliced, but Pete and Elda's is like, it's so thin, it's like paper almost. That's why, like I said, a pizza this size, you can eat the whole thing yourself, because it would just be like, if you cut it in 4 pieces and put it on top of each other, it would be like as thick as this. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I really like that too. If you're gonna go like the argument that the Midwest people are gonna have with, oh, Chicago deep dish, get out of here with that shit. It's good, but you eat one piece of that and it sits in your stomach like, like just like a brick. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I know someone's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe he's, it's just like, it's not the same as New York though. And if you've gone to Connecticut, gone to Frank Pepe's before too, and everybody claims that, oh, that's so awesome. I thought it was good.
I personally agree with you. I don't think it's the best.
Thought it was good, but I didn't think it was the way they make it out to be.
Yes.
But Pete and Elda's is kind of like Frank Pepe's. It's that it's
Yep.
thin like that,
Yep.
thinner than this.
Yep, I do like Frank Pepe's. I think I'm just partial. I think most people are of where you grew up and the pizza that you ate. That's like in your head of like what pizza should be.
Right.
So what about like topping wise? What is your go-to Friday night, nothing to do, we're getting pizza?
When my wife and I order, we order right from the same place that we just got this from. We don't get fancy with anything. We always get the same special. We get the 8-cut cheese and we get the 20 wings. And that's it. We don't need to go fancy on the toppings because sometimes she doesn't want stuff on there or I don't want stuff on there. So we compromise and we just get cheese because we know
Yep.
we're both fine with that. I like the specialty pizzas. Like I like the chicken parm. I like the baked ziti. I'm not a typical guy that goes in, oh, I'll have a sausage slice or I'll have a pepperoni slice.
Yep.
Very rarely. I'll usually choose cheese over like a pepperoni slice. Only exception is like white pizza. I opt for white pizza a lot too, especially if it's got regatta on it. And then my wife likes that a lot too because she doesn't like a lot of sauce. So sometimes we'll just get the white pizza instead.
Yep.
And also another one that we have to mention, especially because we're so close to Utica, which is the home of it, is tomato pie.
Mm-hmm.
Tomato pie is not pizza. Totally different. But I love mix of tomato pie too. And if you don't know what tomato pie is just a pizza with red sauce, and usually it's Parmesan and Romano, like grated cheese on top. And that I love too.
So tomorrow with Jason Gianni, he informed me that he is lactose intolerant. So tomorrow's
Tomato pie would be good for him.
I believe tomorrow will be the first drummers eating pizza without cheese on the pizza, but that'll be the next episode.
Matt from Shadows Falls, lactose intolerant too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gotta
The
be
worst
awful.
thing is being backstage and 5 hot pizzas come in, and he's like, I can't fucking eat any of it.
He can pull the cheese off.
He could. Well, what fun is that?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. All right, so I think that covers the pizza portion of, because we're all here to hear the drumming stuff, but we got to do the pizza if we're
Right.
eating pizza. We'll talk about this slice once we get into it. So what was your first musical memory?
My first musical memory that I can think of on the top of my head is, there's a few, because there's photographic evidence to support it. First thing I can remember is being a little kid, like 3, 4. And my grandparents used to have, like, outside, back behind next to their garage, used to keep the ash cans, or that's what they used to call the garbage cans back in the day. It was metal garbage cans, and they would just be flipped over, because you'd flip them over in case it rains, so you didn't get rain inside them. And I have a picture, like my grandparents took of me, like 3 or 4 years old, with 2 sticks, like 2 sticks I found in the yard, banging on the garbage cans. Nobody in my family was musical.
Yeah.
I don't know where this came from. I mean, obviously I was born with it. I'm 110% positive that God gave me this talent to use, because it wasn't like I came from a musical family. So I started banging on, the ash cans when I was 3 or 4. And it wasn't something like, I picked up 2 sticks. Like, let me give you an example. Let's pretend that. Let's pretend these actual sticks were like pieces of wood, like sticks you break off a tree. I was a 3, 4-year-old kid. I'm not going to know about weights and equality and, is this stick balanced? But this kid at 3 or 4, I picked up this one, and because my grandmother told me this. And then you would pick up and you would go, no, I don't like that one. And you'd find another one until
That matched.
I had
close.
2 that kind of matched.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fucked up, because that's never left me. Because like I'll go through sticks now. Like I'll have a whole box. I'm like, nope. All right, this one works. That one goes with this one. So it was something that started so young for me. So that's the first musical memory I can think of. The second one is probably another couple years later, maybe 5, 6. I have, and I still have the cassette tape upstairs somewhere. I have a cassette tape of me with a pair of sticks that my dad was a carpenter and a contractor, for his entire life. So when I was a kid, he used to literally lathe me sticks at work. He worked for a cabinet company in the 70s. So he would just get a dowel and he'd make sticks for me, bring them home. So I have a recording. I really should pull this out because it'd be so funny to play this for Ed next time the Doobie Brothers come to town. I have a tape of me playing along to the Doobies with my made sticks by my dad. And if you remember back in the day, the old leather 8-track tape cases, like with the buckle on it, the big thing. And I like 3 of them, and I would put them on the floor like a drum set. And I have a tape of playing along to the Doobies. But it wasn't me, like, I was fucking playing along to the song. Like, I was playing the song like I knew the part. So, and I found that one, like, years ago. I found it. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking amazing. So that's kind of like, those are my first musical memories that I can remember.
Yep.
That's how far back that goes. And then I started taking lessons in 2nd grade because that's when you were allowed to.
Okay.
No, 3rd. I'm sorry. In the Schenectady School District, you could start taking musical lessons in 2nd grade for woodwinds, the strings, trumpet, trombone, and the horns, all that. But for some reason, drums you couldn't start till 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. So I started taking, school lessons in 3rd grade, did school lessons 3rd through 5th grade, went to middle school, studied with my teacher, with the band director there. So he was like my private instructor, did concert band there, did the jazz band there. And then when I got to high school, I went to Linton High School first, which is down the street, because we used to live down the street 2 blocks. But down the street 2 blocks is a different school district.
Yeah.
Because in 84, I was still living down the block. After my parents got divorced, my mom had rented a house that was a few blocks down from here. So we lived there from like the end of middle school until like my 2nd year of high school. So midway, summer of my freshman year, my mom bought this house. And then, years when she passed, I moved back in because then it became my home. But we moved out of the house that we were renting, and she bought this house, and we moved here. Halfway through my sophomore year, I got called down to the guidance counselor's office, or principal's office rather. Right over the PA, like I'm in class. Jason Bittner, please report to Mr. Aldi's office. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like I didn't do shit in high school. Like I don't get in trouble. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to go to the principal's office? So I go down to the principal's office, and he's like, yeah, Jason, just wanted to let you know, do you know that you live in the Niskayuna School District? And I'm like, no, I only see the sign every fucking day that I walk home. And I was like, oh, no, really? No, I don't know. My mom bought a new house last year. Yeah, well, you're in the other school district, and you have to go to Niskayuna. I'm like, oh, no. All my friends were at Linton.
Yeah.
Everybody I grew up with in 2nd grade was there. Now I'm 2 blocks away, and now I have to go to the school that's over that way.
The other side of town.
The other side of town.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the other side of town. I want to stay in this side of town with the derelicts and the burnouts and the potheads and all the metalheads.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the better school. It's better education, better teachers, higher taxes, full of fucking deadheads.
Yeah. Great.
Full of preppies and people that don't like the kind of music that I fucking like. And I walk in there 17 years old with a Metallica shirt on, and I could have just walked in there, wearing a clown uniform.
Yeah, shitting their cornflakes.
That's really what it was. Absolutely. My hair was a little bit past my ears, and it was traumatic. It really, now that I think about it, it really was. It sucked because I had 3 friends there.
Yeah.
Like when I first got there, I had my friend Dave who went to Linton with all the rest of us, but he got sent there 10th grade. So he went 1 year at our high school with
Yeah.
all of his friends. I went 2, but then I'm like, all right, well, at least I got Dave there. So it was me and him. And then shortly after that, I met my friend Rob, who became one of my best friends in the world. And I met my friend Eric, who was another metalhead because he was a kid who had a Slayer shirt. So, that's how you bonded
clicked,
back
yep,
then.
yep.
Oh shit, you like this
got the
kind of music
uniform,
too?
yeah.
Right, he's got the uniform, exactly. So I'm digressing a little off the story. So then I got sent to Niskayuna, and that's where I did my time for junior year and senior year, and that's where I graduated from. But as far as drumming, I got way more. No, all right, I shouldn't really say that. I think I got more out of my time at Linton.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because I did a year of marching band at Linton. I didn't do marching band at Niskayuna because we didn't have a marching band.
Yeah.
So marching band was very instrumental for me, 9th grade, for helping get my hands together, way more than they were. And then in the first year I wasn't on the snare line permanently yet, but I was an alternate on the snare line because I was a freshman and you had seniors who were snare drummers. And even though I could keep up with them, they had the tenure. All right.
get it.
So I was playing bass drum, but I did have, my snare time in as well. The second year, I was going into, so my first year of high school, I did marching band, jazz band, and concert band. My second year, I did jazz band, concert band, and started in marching band. However, 6 weeks into the school year, I broke my wrist because I was still racing BMX.
I saw the BMX bike over there.
Because I was still on one of these fucking things like an idiot. See, these are the things you can buy as an adult when you can afford to buy it. This is the bike I always wanted when I was 15.
Everybody wanted that. Everybody wanted a
Everybody
Mongoose.
wanted a Team Mongoose with Moto Mags. Come on. So,
I had a Diamondback.
like I said, I didn't have a Mongoose when I was racing. I raced SE bikes. I had a quad angle because I couldn't afford a PK. I wanted a PK Ripper, but I raced a quad angle and I raced a Hutch Pro Series. So, my third year of racing was just coming to an end. The season was just ending. Like it was early October. We're talking, there's not much racing left. Maybe it might have been even the last weekend the fucking season was going.
Yeah.
So we started the school year. I'm in marching band. I'm on the snare line now. And I go over a jump. And the year before, I went over a jump and I went over the bars and I smashed my head in the ground. I have the remnants of it's very faint, but it used to be fucking huge. I had a scar that was right here from because I had metal frame glass at the time. I smashed my head in the ground, broke my cheekbone. My friend ran over my neck.
Oh,
Yeah. I found out all this the next day in school. I went to the hospital in the ambulance. I get to school the next day, and my buddy Eric's like, hey, Ken ran over your neck yesterday? I'm like, yeah, awesome, great. That must be why it hurts. Good. Thanks, buddy. I couldn't afford it. You went down right in front of me. I'm like, I know. And it was a bad crash. It sucked. But it put me down. So the next year, I'm just coming. And I had a good season that year. I was winning trophies. I was much better than I was the year before. And it was coming to a close. And I took a practice run. And my fucking front tire hit this fucking thing. And I was like, God damn it. And as I'm flying through the air again, I'm like, I'm not smashing my head this time. And I put my hands out.
Oh.
And I fucking and when I landed, just something went dink. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I knew it. I knew I fucked something up. I'm like, I think I gotta go. So I went back to the offices. I got my money back for the race day. I'm like, I just hurt myself. I gotta go home.
Yeah.
And I then had to ride home fucking 4 miles.
With a broken wrist.
With a broken wrist up fucking Balltown Road Hill, which is a goddamn fucking nightmare with 2 hands. So I walked my bike up with my arm just, hanging at my side. And I come rolling in the driveway, and my mother's like out doing like gardening or something. She's like, "Why are you home?" I crashed again. She goes, "Oh, are you all right?" I go, "I don't know." I said, "There might be something wrong with my hand." I said, "I didn't smash my face this time." I said, "But we might have to go to the hospital." And I went and I go, "I'm going to go upstairs and take a hot bath." Because I thought that would have been the thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was a fucking very bad idea. Because
Yeah.
the moment that my hand sat in that hot water, it was throbbing when I got out. And I went, "Yeah, something's fucked up. We definitely got to go to the emergency room." So 6 hours later, now I got a broken wrist. Motherfucker. Right as marching band season is starting, and I'm down for 3.5 weeks. I was lucky. It was only a small fracture, but it fucked my finger up too. And to this day,
Oh yeah, I can see it.
It doesn't. I have to
Really
literally
pull it
in to have it like that's your hand's supposed to look like, not like that. So you can see it from the back. It protrudes out. So this also, because I have a physical ailment, it's very hard for me to keep this pinky on the stick at all times. And we know how important it is finger control, that you need to keep your fingers on the stick at all times. When I went for my auditions at Berkeley, I sat down and I played down the frickin' piece of music perfectly. It was right out of Garwood Whaley's intermediate snare drum for the modern drummer or whatever it was that I had just gone through with my high school teacher. I'm like, "Oh, I know this book already. I already went through it." Played it down. I was like, "Yeah, no problem," in my head. And Joe Hunt went, "Great, drum lab 1." And I went, "What? Why?" "Your pinky came off the stick."
Your technique's awful, kid.
"My pinky can't stay on the stick. It's physically impossible." So I got kicked out in drum lab 1 because of that. But yeah, so that killed my marching band career. So when I got back, once my hand healed, like my doctor said, "Okay," he's like, not a bad break, but no drumming." Okay. How long am I going to be in the cast? 3.5 weeks. Oh, this is going to fucking suck. By week 2, and the way the cast was, it came up to like here, and it went around my hand just like that, right? So once it started like,
Working
a little bit, 2
Stick
weeks
in
into it, I shoved that stick right in there. And I'm upstairs playing Queensryche like an asshole and going, "I know I'm not supposed to be doing this." But I did anyways. And in hindsight, I really could have messed myself up, and this could have never healed properly because I was stupid doing that. But thank God it did. But yeah, that killed marching band, because by the time I healed up, football season was over.
Yeah.
And it was done. And then I got shipped off to Niskayuna. There was no marching band there. But the caveat was I was still doing the jazz band there and concert band, but now I moved over to the orchestra. So now I was playing timpani because Linton didn't have an orchestra. So I was like, all right, well, I lost marching band, but I got orchestra.
Yeah.
So
without having those formative, rudimental marching band things, when did you get to the point of you were like, when you got the cast off, did you go back and dive into rudiments, or did that come more in college?
it came another year later, because you have to remember when I was in high school for me, freshman and sophomore year is 1984 to 1986. That's what I was doing in 1984 and 1986. That was my world. That man was my world. That band was my world. It still is. I was just getting into all the metal stuff. Like I was into Maiden and Priest, but like thrash was just starting to come into my view. I was a child of Neil Peart and John Bonham and Stuart Copeland first. That's the way it went for me with the Holy Trinity. It was Stuart first, then Bonham, and then I fell into Neil Peart, which is why I own those 3 kits. That's why I have that kit. That's why I have the Bonham kit, and my Stewart kit is back there. Those are the
Holy
3
Trinity.
most important drummers in rock music, in my opinion.
Yep.
So
I'm not going to disagree.
and when I get the room, I want to have that one and the Copeland set up in the same spot. Anyways, so the next year, around when I started my junior year, so when I'm in a different high school, every time I'd look through Modern Drummer, you'd always see those black and white ads for Berkeley. Learn music the way Steve Smith did at Berkeley. Learn music the way Vinnie Colaiuta did at Berkeley. I fucking love those two drummers. That's where I want to go.
I'm going to Berkeley.
You know? And then 30 years later, fucking Steve telling me stories about him and Vinnie going into practice rooms together. Steve told me that him and Vinnie would go, because he goes, we were so poor. He goes, we would go get a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter, and the two of us would just go in a practice room on a Friday night with just a fucking ride cymbal and see who could outswing.
Yeah, right.
They would just outswing.
Who can come as close to Tony Williams as possible?
Outswing each other.
Yeah.
And just the visual, and I said that to him, I go, I'm just picturing a Berkeley shed and you two jammed in there with a ride cymbal just going at it. Like, because I went to the school, I can see it, you know? And it was just like, that just blew my mind. I'm like, that's why I wanted to go to that school.
Yeah.
So I knew going in there was going to be an audition process, and I knew that just learning by listening to records wasn't going to cut it. So when I was in 11th grade, I started getting in my head, I'm like, I got to go study privately again, because I want to get my reading better than it was at the time. I said, I need my reading to come up to stuff more, and I need to learn more jazz. I definitely need to be more versed in at least even attempting swing. So I went and studied with Don Bush, who was the biggest guy for that in the area. He used to live right down the street from me. God rest his soul. He was still one of the people I learned the most from. And ironic tidbit about Don is Don was Vic Firth's roommate at the New England Conservatory,
Nice.
and Don is the one who designed the Vic Firth Bolero.
Oh, wow. All right.
My old teacher, Don, whittled that fucking stick down to that tiny little tip and made those in the dorms. And Vic said, that's a really cool idea. I'm going to make that a stick one day when I have a company. And he did. He did.
Yeah.
It's funny because I talk about that with Kelly all the time, John DeChristopher's wife. I go, you know, my old teacher went to school with your dad.
Yep.
So I started studying with Don, and that's where my reading came together more. I knew I'd be able to sight read, and I'd be able to go down and handle what I would need to handle to get into the school. And that was my focus. So that's what I did. Went to Berkeley, had some great teachers there. The ones who still stick with me the most were Arvin Scott, who I learned, a lot of, I learned mambo, bossa nova, and all that stuff with him really well. Ed Uribe, God rest his soul, he's no longer with us, but I learned a lot of Latin stuff with him, and he was just a great guy all around. And my favorite teacher, who is still there, and I still talk to him almost every day on Facebook, is Skip Haddon. He was a one-time drummer in Weather Report, and he's just one of the greatest teachers I've ever had. Just a great person too. All these guys, every time that I played through, on tour, every time I was in Boston, I would always go back to the school, always say hello. So it was very, very, very fun for me. The first semester, this was my experience though. It's the same thing that most people do, because it's a very low graduating class, because everybody just goes there for a little while, you meet people, and you go out and you just want to do it. And that's what I did. The first semester, I'm like, yeah, it's music 365, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This is awesome. The second semester, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's music 24/7 every goddamn day. I need a break.
Yeah.
And I was getting burnt. So I had met some guys there, and we had started playing. Ironically, the first band I was in at Berkeley was a band called Roadkill. And it was me and Bobby Cobley, who's the guitar player from Death to All nowadays. And he was also in Death as well. And that's a fun fact I laugh about all the time, because as soon as I saw Bobby get into Death to All, I start sending pictures of us in the studio in 1988 and go, remember this? He's like, oh my God, you still have these pictures? I go, yes, dude. I still have the recordings, man. So that was cool. That was very cool. But I met guys, and we were going to go conquer the world. So we left, and we were going to make a band, and I was supposed to make it by time I was 21, and I didn't join Shadows Fall till I was 31. So you know where I'm going with that. So there you go.
We all think we're going to be rock stars right
Yep.
out of the gate.
We do.
I only need a year or two, and then I'm going to have just retire to my jet and my yacht.
Yep. Still waiting for that. But that was that. So that was really like the height of the educational point for me. And as soon as I left Berkeley, that's when I started teaching too. So I've been teaching since I was 19. Came home and started doing that. I left. I was playing. I moved away for a little while. I came back home to this area like around 1989, end of 1989. And my mother was like, well, you're going to go at least get a community college degree. You're going to get a degree of some sort. So I went to school, down to SCC, got my 2-year in humanities and social sciences. I played in the percussion ensemble there for fun, just because I'm like, I'm not going here for music. I was at Berkeley. I got burnt there.
Yeah.
But I'll still play in the percussion ensemble. That's fun.
Yeah.
So I did that, while I was there too. And I ended up getting 2 degrees from there. I got one in humanities and social sciences, and then 10 years later, when I was working for the state still, and I was working in the computer room, I got a 2-year computer degree as well. But then I joined Shadows Fall. Yeah. So school was out and touring was in.
Music 365 is back in.
Yeah. That's all right though when it's that capacity though, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do Music 365 at that capacity.
Yeah. All right, we're breaking into the chicken parm pizza, right? Let me get rid of this. You got it?
Yep. It's still very good. It's a little on the cool side, but that's all right. It's very good.
All right, going back to pizza. Clearly this is colder.
But it's still good, and the fresh regat makes it.
Do you like cold pizza? Mm-hmm. I hated cold pizza for years.
Really?
And I think it was, I don't remember when it was, but I was hungover, and the pizza was out all night.
Yep.
And I was just like, you know what?
Yep.
I don't care. I'm not putting it in the microwave. And I ate it, and I was like, this isn't that bad. I still prefer it hot, but I know some people
So do I.
that, like, my kids refuse. They're like, I would rather starve to death than eat cold pizza.
Now that I don't get.
They haven't, as far as I know, haven't been drinking or smoking weed
And-
yet.
or
we're going to give it time.
Or touring in a bus, because that's the other thing too.
That's it. That's all we got.
When you wake up in the morning, the pizza's still sitting there from last night on the front lounge. You're like,
Dibs.
yeah, fuck it. I've had some interesting pizzas around the world, though. I'll tell you that much.
So I was going to move into that, was because you've been around the world, do you have some either, like you said, interesting pizzas, or like go to, if I'm in Seattle, like this is where you got to go? Because we've been through there and I absolutely love that pizza.
Yep. There used to be a place. There used to be a place in LA that was right up the street from the Whiskey. And it's closed now because I've played the Whiskey twice, like in the last 6 months now. I played there with Category 7, and we did a John Bush show there. And prior to that, I hadn't played the Whiskey in years. So, or been on the Strip in years either. So I said to myself, I'm like, all right, playing the Whiskey, I'm definitely going to that New York style pizza place that used to be right up the street. Gone. God damn it. So, used to go there, but that's gone. But overseas, here's a few places that I love pizza in. The first place is Athens, Greece.
Okay.
I don't know what it is but their pizza's just different in Greece. Mm-hmm. It's really thin, and it's served. It's square slices. You can get it, and there's all these little stores. Like every little store like sells it too, and it's not even like a particular place. Like you go in any of these places, they're all good. And it's really, really thin, like flimsy thin, and always in squares. But Greece, I love the pizza, and also, I'm being real specific, I can go to Germany and say I like a lot of pizza in Germany too, because I do. I've had some really, really good pizza in Germany, but especially in Mannheim, Germany, right by this club that's called 7R, I think. Anyways, it's Mannheim, Germany, and they have a tuna fish pizza there.
Okay.
Maybe some people don't get that, and it sounds disgusting, But if you're Italian like I am, and if you've ever had tuna fish sauce, if your grandparents used to make that, because my grandmother did, and I loved it as a kid, it's the same type of thing. It's just like pizza with tuna fish on it. And one day, we were playing there. It was when I was in Flotsam, and we were playing there with Destruction, and Schmear from Destruction had it. I walked in their dressing room. I'm like, yo, is that tuna fish pizza? He goes, yeah, you like that? I go, well, it's just like tuna fish sauce. My grandma used to make it all the time. I go, where'd you get that? He goes, right next door. I'm like,
I'll be back.
Later. sitting in the dressing room afterwards. And again, it was one of those real thin. I got like a 6-cut, and I'm like, yeah, I'm eating this whole thing by myself. One of my guitar players walked in. What the hell's that on there? Tuna fish? That's disgusting. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's really good.
So good. Now, it's like a tuna fish sauce with cheese.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's mainly like a pizza bottom with like tuna fish sauce on top.
Like a red sauce on top.
All right.
It's great.
If I'm ever in Mannheim, Germany, I'm
France
going...
too. France, I've had some good pizza in as well. Paris.
Yeah. All right.
You know, you really... That was the thing about playing in Overkill. We always got after show pizzas. That was like one of the staples of our of the band. So in the 7 years I played in that band, I experienced a lot of pizza. It'd always be the after show pizza, and we were like, you know, and you could tell like when there's 6 or 7 dudes that go over to 6 boxes and they're all looking at them with this look on their face and no one's digging in.
It's bad.
Yeah, you're like, no one's even gonna take a chance. No, it looks like shit.
No one's gonna take a chance.
So you either know, or if people start scarfing it down, like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been surprised places though sometimes, like where you get stuck somewhere and they're like, all right, we're gonna get pizzas. Where are they gonna get fucking pizzas from here? We're in the middle of nowhere. And they come in with like Domino's or something. You're like, oh, well, that answered that question.
Yep.
But sometimes I've had like really good Domino's. Like, this is Domino's? Like, holy shit. This is really good, actually.
Yeah, you know, you got to take pride in your pizza making
Yep.
ability. Like Sean Pelton, he said when he grew up, there was one place that did like family style pizza, and then I think he said a Pizza Hut came in, and like that was it. He said that's all we had for like miles around. So he goes, we didn't really have an option of if we were gonna get pizza, it was the mom and pop shop.
Right.
He said it was decent, or it was Pizza Hut. That's all we had. So yeah, I guess if you're in a different area, it's like where are we getting pizza
Right.
from?
You're stuck with
Take
what you
can
got.
get. Yeah.
Yep.
And I've talked to different people that said different areas, because of ingredients, especially the water, can make pizza dough different. Like Florida, I guess everything is filtered certain way because of all the sand. And then somebody was talking about like Colorado being up higher, the dough rises differently, so that can affect the dough. And then somebody also said, like, you know, depending on where they're getting their ingredients shipped in from, you know, their flour or whatever. It's
funny that you talk about the water, because my guitar player in Category 7, Mike Orlando, told me that Chicago won like this pizza contest thing or something like a couple years ago, like best pizza in the country or some bullshit. Then it came out that this pizza place was getting all their water from Staten Island.
Yeah.
So then it kind of like defeated the, hey, you don't win now because you're not using Chicago water.
Yeah.
You're importing your water from New York, for God's sakes.
Yep.
So that's another reason why the fucking bagels are so good there too.
Yeah. Yep.
It's different.
No, I definitely, I'll have to sit down at some point with a chef or a baker and talk about how water affects pizza positively and negatively.
Right.
I did just see somebody, I think it's somewhere in New York, that they only do X amount of pizzas per day, and they do something with the water. They treat it a certain way, and they only treat a certain amount of water to make a certain amount of dough. And that's it. So they don't use the regular tap water.
Right.
I don't know if they use tap water and they filter it through whatever process, but they have like a big, huge jug of it, and that's what they use to make the dough, and that's for the dough that they make, and when they're out, they're out.
Yeah.
All right, so How about any like surreal moments or musicians that like blew you away? Whether you met somebody like meeting Neil, I'm sure that was like, you know, that this is what I've been waiting for, you know, my whole drumming career, or
That's
like
exactly what my wife said to him after we took a picture with him. She said, we took the first time we met him after, you know, 15 minutes of awesomeness, you know, was letting him go because he had to get ready for his show. And we took a picture. The best, I love this story so much because at the time, Neil's, you know, best friend in security, Michael Mosbach, who's a dear friend of mine now, but he didn't know me from Adam then.
Yep.
He was just Neil's security guy. As soon as he saw my wife and I with the camera, he's like, put that away. I'm going to meet my hero and not get a picture? Come on. So we asked him to take a picture. And I just gave the camera to Michael, like with a smirk on my face, like,
here you go.
So we took the picture. And my wife said to Neil, she goes, Neil, could you just do me a favor? And he was like, what's that? She goes, he's been waiting his entire life to meet you. Can you just take one picture with him, you know, by himself? And he's like, sure. He goes, we wouldn't want that last one to end up in a settlement one day, now would we? And we were so taken aback by, but that's how he was, though. It was that dry humor that he had. It was so incredible. And then plus he was so comfortable around us already to say that to us.
Yeah.
And I still laugh about it to this day. I just like, it was so funny. He's like, this is the picture right here. That's the picture. And she goes, you know, he's been waiting his entire life to meet you. He's like, yeah, we wouldn't want that one to end up in a settlement one day.
You know, let me take a picture of it because I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, and I'll put that into the. Let me get it so it's not. Can you point it down a little bit? There we go. Just so I don't get the glare. Perfect.
So that was a very surreal moment. That moment was surreal. The story I was telling you in the practice room about how I took the 3-hour drum lesson with Steve Smith and he taught me a million things and I taught him one. And then to see him doing the thing that I taught him in his own solo 6 months later, that was pretty fucking surreal as he smiled at me doing it. Yeah, I mean, there's been moments like, look, I mean, still, to me, the biggest thing for me is becoming friends with Neil Peart. He was my biggest idol I've had, and he was a wonderful person. But I've become friends with all my heroes. I mean, Charlie Benante is one of my best friends. You know, Dave Lombardo, fucking, you know, Steve Smith, Terry Bozzio, all these guys are my heroes. They're all on my phone. So I've been really blessed and really lucky to, you know, be friends with most of my peers, or, you know, be peers with most of my heroes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. You know, Nico is probably the top on that list because, like, Maiden's my favorite metal band of all time. I own a snare drum that was on Live After Death. I have a crash cymbal that's in my room that I got from him off Ozfest. And he literally pulled this ride cymbal off of his drum set in 2009 and gave it to me. Huh. So yeah.
You know how much you could get for that on eBay?
You know what I could get you know what else I could get? I could sell the original model of this cymbal, which is the 22-inch Sound Creation that you can't find anymore for probably more than that one. But either way, I would never sell that stuff because it's precious to me. Like, Nico's that's one of the ones that still dumbfounds me when I get off the phone with him. All right, love you, mate. I'm like,
I love you too,
I love you too, man.
No, I mean, for a musician to give you, I mean, like, that's what they always said is like with a guitarist. If a guitar player gives you his guitar, you know what I mean? That's such a huge, like if Eric Clapton gave somebody a guitar, I mean, that's like the biggest honor you can get.
The best thing about that ride cymbal, it was shortly after he put those out for him. And it was a couple years after we did the Ozfest with them. And me, Matt McDonough from Mudvayne, and Braun from Mastodon, the three of us would get together and we'd grab a bag of beers and we would go watch Maiden every fucking night. The three of us, everybody on the tour called us the Three Stooges because we still call each other Mo, Larry, and Curly.
Yeah.
That's how we refer to each other all the time. Like, I'll fucking text Matt, "What's up, Larry?" And it just became this thing. But every night we went and watched Maiden. So after a year later, the cymbal came out, and me and Braun started pestering Nico. You know, we gotta get one of those ride cymbals. We gotta get one of those ride cymbals. Yeah. I'll get them for you. All right, whatever. Never asking, like, I'll pay for it,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, he gave me the crash cymbal that's in my studio. I never, that was up to him. The snare drum I bought off him because I pestered him for a long time. We used to have a place in Florida, so I'd see him a lot more often. We'd go to Rockin' Ribs every time that we were down there.
Yeah.
So there was one time we were down there, and we were going to meet him at the restaurant. He called me up. He's like, "Hey." I go, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "Bring $500 with you." I go,
Are you in jail?
I go, did the ribs go up? And he goes, "No." He goes, I found one of those Superphonics for you. I go, "Get out of here." He goes, "Yeah, but I got to charge you for it." I go, "That's fine.
Absolutely.
No problem." So I have that. So so back to the cymbal. So we're at Heavy MTL, which is a festival in Montreal in 2009, I think it was. It might have been 8. And Maiden headline, Mastodon was playing, Shallows Fall was playing. Nico and I go up to watch Mastodon. So now we're on stage watching Mastodon. Braun sees us over there waving, and we're waving at him. So like Nico's up there for like 25 minutes, and he goes, "I'll be right back." I'm like, "All right, cool." He runs off. He comes back like 10 minutes later with that fucking cymbal. And he gives it to me. And Braun is like this. And I'm like,
It's mine.
I'm holding the cymbal up, and he's just like, "You motherfucker." Yeah, good times.
And you got the symbol,
got
and
the
it's
symbol.
still there. What about being on tour with all these bands, and I don't know how often you guys got out on off nights. Like, have you seen?
Off nights. We got out on nights.
Either it doesn't have to be a drummer. It can be anybody musician-wise where you just saw them play and you were like, "Holy shit." Like, as musicians and as a technical musician, you understand the nuances of like learning this stuff and the time that you have to put in to build your technique.
Yep.
Who have you seen that you were just blown away by what they did?
Porcupine Tree.
Yeah.
One of the best bands I've ever seen live.
Yeah.
I only saw him once at the House of Blues. Thomas Lang and I went as Gavin's guests, and it was just fucking amazing.
Because Thomas is okay.
Yeah, he's all right. he's okay.
So were you guys like
Porcupine Tree.
backstage, like I was like side stage to see him play, or were you out in front?
No, we were out in front.
Yeah.
We could have been on the side, but we wanted to watch the show.
The whole band, yeah.
So we stayed in the crowd, and then we went backstage afterwards. Porcupine Tree, hands down. An off night from a Shadows Fall tour, we ended up in Denver, and King's X was down the street at the Bluebird, and we were playing the bigger venue the next night, but we got into town the night before, so we called our management. Like, we had all seen King's X before,
Yeah.
but it was just the point that, we were in town, we got in town, and we're like, so we called our management, like, "Yo, can you get us into the King's X show?" So we did, and it was just one of those nights. It was at the Bluebird in Denver. It wasn't really packed, but it was fucking so good, and they were so loud and so awesome. And then we ended up on the bus afterwards, and been friends with Jerry and Doug ever since.
Yeah.
Great band. Great fucking band.
I saw Doug and Kenny Arnoff at Daddy's Junkie in West Springfield.
Yeah.
They did a clinic together. Yeah, Doug did like his thing, and then Kenny came up. That was a cool clinic because it was, you had your mix.
Stu Ham and I did that in 2010.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because you're thinking like when you're going to a clinic, you're seeing two drummers, but to have two, clearly bass and drums are you understand what they're talking about.
Yep.
It was cool to see a bass player do their thing and talk about the instrument, and then see a drummer do their thing where you could see the bass players being like, oh, all right, like, not understanding quite what he was doing, and then he showed it, and it was like, oh, all right, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting next to somebody, I could see them, like, the light bulb coming on of, like, something he talked about with how he played the bass drum. And I could almost, like, hear in his head going, okay, so if he's doing that with the bass drum, I want to do this with my bass part to match it. I think he talked about, what was the Authority song? Yeah, so Kenny said, the bass player was just going do 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 do, playing like the eighth notes. So Kenny, when they started rehearsing it, started doing like the broken up hi-hat, not hitting it on 2 and 4. And the bass player was like, whoa, that my bass part's not going to fit now. And now when you listen to the bass player, it's much more bouncier because Kenny broke up the hi-hat. Mm-hmm. So to see, that bass player listening to Kenny talk about something, and then I could see their wheels of like, oh, I would do this differently. It was kind of, right. I thought it was cool to have, different people doing clinics like that. So
he's a Massachusetts boy, you know that?
Yeah.
Stockbridge.
Yep.
Actually, he was born in Albany.
Yeah.
I've known Kenny since I was 15.
Yeah. Yep. I took an online lesson with Kenny when I started my studio.
Kenny's been here. Kenny borrowed drums from me for he went back to play something at his high school in West Stockbridge, and he needed drums. I go, you don't have any drums at your parents' house or nothing? He goes, not one. I go, you're shitting me.
And I think they had a barn. He said they had a huge barn.
He's like, no, I have nothing here. So I let him borrow my Mirage kit when I was even on the road. Yeah. I left him the key to my garage and fucking just put it back in when you're done.
Yeah. I did a lesson with him when I was setting my studio up just to go through like the growing pains of like, how do I avoid certain things setting up a home studio that you have gone through setting up your studio. All right, don't do this. Whatever you do, don't do this. Where I might be like, oh, that's what I should start with.
Right.
So I did that, and then I've seen him in clinics a couple of times. Just the energy from Kenny is.
Oh,
it's you just feel it. Just
his energy's off the chain.
So how did Shadows Fall start?
I gotta tell this one story too. He got me in trouble with Alan White, motherfucker. Fucking Guitar Center drum off. 2010, I think it was, and me and Nico, and Thomas Lang played. We were like the, artists.
Mm-hmm.
And all these guys were there. Taylor Hawkins was there. Chad Smith was there. All these guys I'm all friends with, but Alan White was there, and I never met Alan White yet. And Kenny's like, yeah, Alan's up there. You want to go meet him? I'm like, yeah, come on. I'll introduce you to him. Fucking Kenny brings me up to where Alan's sitting. And Kenny's like, miss. He's like grabbing me. He's like, this is my friend Jason. And I'm trying to fucking shake Alan White's hand. In the meantime, Kenny's shaking me so bad, he shakes my beer all the fuck over Alan. I'm like, dude! First impression, great. Thanks. And I'm like, sorry, Alan. He's like, no, it was clearly his fault. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it wasn't really the way I wanted this meeting to go down.
Yep, I can see that for sure. And then blame him being like, yeah, it's Kenny. It's okay. So how did Shadows Fall? How did you meet those guys? And when did that band? Were they a band before you, or did you guys all kind of come together and that became Shadows Fall?
Well, like we were talking earlier, all these guys, we all grew up in the same scene together. When I was playing in Stigmata, I was playing shows with Brian, the singer of Shadows Fall, when he was in a band called Overcast. I was playing shows with my bass player Paul from Shadows Fall when he was in a band called Push Button Warfare. Oddly enough, Shadows Fall came together in 97, 98, something like that. I was still playing in the band Crisis. I came back home around 99. I got back into Stigmata again. We made another record, and
right as we were releasing that record and we were getting ready to go to Europe, we got a show in Massachusetts at Infinity's. No, actually, it wasn't Infinity's. It was Pearl Street. Shadows Fall was doing a CD release party, and they wanted us to be direct support. So at the time, the guy who was handling them, Scott Lee, who ironically enough is currently our manager now, but at the time, Scott was trying to help him out.
Scott Lee is an ogre? I can't say
Call
that.
him ogre.
That's
not like that.
Okay, that's how
Yes, Scott Lee.
Okay, so the same guy, just
formerly
sort of
known as.
Okay. I
Yes.
can always edit that out. I'll just bleep.
Oh God, I called him that like one. All right, we can edit this out. I called him that like one time, like a year ago. He's like, "Dude, don't call me ogre anymore." I'm like, "Fucking, that's how I've known you for 30 fucking years. What do you want?" So yeah, it's Scott Lee. So let's
Okay.
go back.
All right. So just the same person. All right, we're
so
good.
Scott Lee was handling the band at the time, and he gives me this CD. He goes, "Hey, check this out." And I'm like, "What's this?" He goes, "Shadows Fall. These guys are going to be big." And I'm like, "Okay." So I take it home, and it's the first CD. And it's got the original drummer on it, and it has the original singer on it. And the original singer was Phil Labonte from All It Remains.
Mm-hmm.
Phil really couldn't sing that good back then. And I listened to the CD, and I went, I don't really think this is very good. I think the singer sucks, and I think the drummer sucks. That's what I thought. That was my thought process. Was I think they're good. I think they need a better singer and a better drummer, and they'd be good. A couple years later, they got a better singer and a better drummer. So, and then, I mean, and I'm not shit-talking Phil. Phil became the singer that he is years later. He got way better than he was, but back in this time, it wasn't really that great. And plus, it was more death metal oriented, too. I don't think he had found his voice yet, really. So, we get invited to do the CD release party for Shadows Fall. Like, Scott had given me that CD a year beforehand. So now we get invited to do their CD release party. And I know who the band is because I go, okay, that's that band that Scott gave me the CD to. So I know these guys are up and coming in Massachusetts. Now they're on their second album. This is the CD release party for Of One Blood. They have a new singer. It's Brian. They still got the shitty drummer, though. So we go down to Pearl Street and we were direct support on the CD release parties for Of One Blood. So we're back in the dressing room and ironically drinking their beer. We thought it was ours, but it was theirs, so that's even funnier. Because Matt walked in and he's like, I think those are our beers. And we're like, oh, sorry.
They were delicious.
Sorry, dude. That's what you get for headlining. You always learn the headlining band sucks because all the riders are always gone by the time you get done. So that was the first time I had met Matt because I had known the other guys from the other bands, but I hadn't met Matt or John yet. So that was really the first time that I had ever met Matt. So we did their CD release party, and we're in the dressing room, and they're playing, and I go, are they playing fucking Livewire right now? Because that's what I heard. And I'm like, God damn, yes they are. They're playing fucking Livewire. So that stuck with me. I'm like, oh, they're playing Livewire. And of course, they were still covering it when I joined the band. So a few months later, it was very shortly after that show, Stigmata was going to call it a day. We had our farewell show planned for Black Friday 2001. 2001? No, 2002. No, 2001. That period starts to get a little fuzzy for me because it was right when my mom died, and I try to I'm like, oh no, it was 2001. I try to keep her on the earth for another year, but it was not the case. So my mom passed in August of 2001, and she was my best friend. She was my biggest supporter, and it really, it was not a fun time in my life. It was my first experience with cancer, so obviously, everybody's had their own deal with that. So I get a phone call from their tour manager at the time, Shadows Falls. Hey man, the band's really having a hard time finding a drummer. We want to know if you want to come out and audition. Everybody knows who you are and highly recommended and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm really not in any kind of headspace to be in a band right now because
at that time, like I said, my mom had just died. I'm dealing with that. I just got a good job. I got a promotion at the state. I was in the computer department now. I knew this would lead to a decent job. This would be fine. I'll just do this for the next 30 years of my life. I'm not going to make it. Okay, I'm 31. I'm not going to make it. I resigned myself to that fact, and I was comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the way life goes. So I said no. My mom died. I didn't want to fucking be in a band. I didn't want to get back in a van with dudes. I just finished this with Stigmata. It was ending, again, it wasn't ending the way we wanted it to, but we were putting it to bed. We're going to play this final show, and I'm just going to go back to fucking work and just play drums for fun. Another couple months went by, and it wasn't even that long. They called probably they called right after my mom died, and she died in August. So I'm going to say they called in September.
Yep.
So then they called again, like maybe mid-October. Well, we thought we had someone, but it turns out that he joined another band, and I was like, well, who was that? Well, we don't want to talk about it, because they didn't really want to air other people's business. Yeah. But at the time, what happened was Matt Byrne had gone down, and he was going to play with them. But as soon as he went down to audition for Shadows Fall, Jamie called him. And then he had the opportunity to join Hatebreed, so he joined Hatebreed. Yep. So then, again, Shadows Fall thought they were going to have a drummer, stuck again with nobody. So, well, would it hurt just to learn some songs, come down and jam? Okay, twist my arm. So I spent the next couple weeks learning the first 5 songs off of One Blood. Went down there sometime in early November, because it was right before we played that last Stigmata show. Went down there in early November, went to Zeus's studio, played down the 5 songs. I don't recall any mistakes. At the end of the night, we said, well, let's just see if I can get the time off from work, and I'll do that European tour with you guys. Because they had a European tour lined up with Kitty for the following year, for 2002. They had never been to Europe before. I had been to Europe numerous times with Stigmata and Crisis, and I'm like, be smart for you guys to get over there, spread the band name. You don't want to miss out on this tour. I've got a lot of time at work. Let me see if I can get a time off. So that's all I was going to do. I was just going to take the time off from work and go do this tour. I had just started dating my girlfriend, who became my wife. So we had just started our relationship when I just started my relationship with Shadows Fall, even though I'd known my wife for 10 years plus before we started dating. Yep. We met at work years ago. We just never got together. So she had already knew that I wanted to do this. It wasn't like we got together and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in a band now. So she always knew that this was my desire. So I said, I'm going to do the tour, and that's it. We made it as far as going down to New York and going to the bar next door to our management office before we left for Europe that night. We had one drink at the bar, and I was like, fuck it, I'm in. And that was it. And they're like, really? Yeah, why not? It's my last shot, because that's really how I felt. I didn't say that, but when I drove home that night, a shooting star went right over my fucking car. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was my mother telling me, this is it.
Absolutely.
Go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Yep. It worked out okay.
It worked out okay. Yep.
Been around the world numerous times.
Yeah.
Now, how many records have you made with the band?
Everyone except for Of One Blood and the first one, which was called Somber Eyes to the Sky. So, Art of Balance, War Within, Fallout from the War, Threads of Life, live album, Retribution, Fire from the Sky. The one that we're working on right now that doesn't have a title. 7 records so far, soon to be 8 once we put this one out.
Nice. What is your input? Because sometimes you hear of bands where like everything's done and then you put your shine on it. As a band, how do you create your songs and your albums? Is it someone's got a riff, or is it like you guys are all in a room and it just kind of happens organically?
We've done all of that. Every song is different.
Yeah. Okay.
We've done all of that. We've been in the room. Someone's got a riff. At the end of the day, we've got a song. We've had it where John has 3 or 4 things strung together. He comes in. We've had it where Matt's made a full demo. Mm-hmm. Here's this. So it's always, it can be a plethora of those things. Yeah. This last album, or the last batch of 10 songs that we're working on to try to put out. We've put 2 out so far. The majority of that has been me and John conversing on the phone. He'd send me phone riffs. I'd say, I hear this to this. What do you think? Yup, that's what I'm thinking too. And then he would put a guitar line down, and then I would put some demo drums down, and then we'd get the band together and we would start working on stuff.
Yeah.
So it's always a collaborative effort. It's never, hey, I wrote all of this, so I'm going to get 100% of the publishing. It doesn't matter who fucking writes what in our band. We are split down the middle, 20, 20, 20, 20,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who does anything. If you're sitting in that room for 4 hours along with everybody else honing that song, you deserve 20% of that, even if you didn't write the damn riff.
Yeah, I agree
Because
with
you need to be there in
Yeah.
order to be performed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many great bands have ended because of that reason right
This
there?
to me, hands down, I feel is one of the main reasons why we've never had shit with each other over songwriting.
Yeah.
We've never bitched at anybody about money. You get this, I don't, blah, blah. We didn't break up because we didn't like each other. We broke up because the business just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
And John got an anthrax. It wasn't like, there was no animosity or
Yeah.
nothing. And I think it's because we've always been fair with each other that it's never been like that. We've always been one for all for one. We know without anybody in the band, we don't exist as a unit.
Yeah.
We don't. Every one of us needs to be there. And when we got back together, in 2021 and we did the reunion show and we had offers for this and offers for that, we can't tour like we used to back in the day. We have guys that are in other bands.
Yeah.
John's in Anthrax. That's his first priority. I was in Overkill at the time. I still have other things going on. We have 2 guys that are family guys who have families at home. So we need to pick and choose what we do. But we agreed that whatever we do, we're not doing if it's not the 5 of us.
Yeah, that's great.
If it's not the 5 of us, we don't do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think that's a great way to go about it. Because
Yep.
I mean, anybody that's been in a band, you're all in there, like you said, sweating it out, figuring it out, in the studio together.
And you realize there are times where if something happens on the road, someone's sick and someone's got to stay home, yeah, you get a fill-in guy or something.
Yeah.
But when you can avoid it,
Yeah.
avoid it.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's a great way.
Yep.
So young bands, if you're watching, I think that's a good concept to have of if you really want to do this as a band and as a unit,
Yep.
saying it's, all for one for all, because
Because if you don't, then you need to put that up front. Look, this is the Jason Bittner band. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
I'm going to write all the music. You guys are just here to help me play it. I'm going to take all the merch. I'm going to take all the publishing. If it's placed down to you like that and you know what you're getting into,
Yeah.
then you have no one to blame except for yourself for entering that project.
Yep.
Okay, they told me I was only going to get paid to play live and that was it.
Yeah.
So why should I be pissed at the guy because he's getting published money? He said he was going to get it.
Yep.
But if you're all slagging it out together, that's really the way to do it, I think.
Split the whole pizza equally.
Exactly.
Now, what about favorite tours for any of the groups that you've been in? Does any of them, is there one that sticks out, whether it was, you headlining or you supporting somebody, or just it was, at the beginning and you were like,
not only you don't even have to go any farther with it. I already know what the answer is. It's 2005. Slipknot, 9 weeks in arenas. Us, Lamb of God, them.
wow.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Followed shortly after that with a Slipknot European tour when it was us and them, which was great. Then followed by Ozfest 2005 with the original Sabbath and the original Maiden, where I was best friends with Nico and Bill Ward every fucking day.
That's awesome.
So that is hands down the best year of.
You don't have to think.
No, those are the best tours. Those are the best tours. That and another one that's in there too is 2012 Mayhem when I filled in for Charlie for the whole tour.
Yeah.
Because I was playing in Anthrax and we were on tour with Motorhead and Slayer and Slipknot. So.
I always laugh because I've never done any serious touring. The bands that I've played, we've done like the college runs of, doing cover shows, and we had live band karaoke that we did. And we went up and down the East Coast to doing stuff. But when I talk to guys like you and you're like, oh, we did this with Slipknot and then Ozzy, and, it always makes me laugh because I'm like, fuck, man, that's got to be You know, it's work. I mean, at some point, it's like you're all in the van, you're all on a plane, you're all on a bus. You know, it can become a haul to do it and get tired. And, you know, sometimes it's not the best
The Slipknot
food.
tour was grueling. I thought I still can't believe that nobody fucking died.
Yeah.
A couple people were close, but no one died through it. Thank God.
Clear. We paddled them back.
When you're grinding that long, like around the 7.5 week mark, I was like, oh my fucking God, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, when are we going home?
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing fucking arenas and I want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like after a while, it's like, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I need a break.
Yeah. You get your set time and everything's good, and then the wind down, and it's like, oh fuck, we got to get on the bus again.
And with that tour too, you know, Slipknot was playing 3-4 shows a week. We were playing every fucking night.
Yeah.
You know, we had off shows. That our biggest stretch on that tour was 19 straight.
Yeah.
Which then became my life in Overkill. Because it was always like 18, 19 straight.
Yep. So what current bands are you, like, what are the projects that you're doing now, currently?
Currently, we're finishing a new Shadows Fall record. We'll get that out hopefully this year, I hope.
Hopefully some shows.
Yeah. You know, we don't know the extent of what, but especially because John's got the Anthrax record coming out this year, so we'll see what happens. That's in the works. Category 7 is just about to start working on our new material. I think they have like 5 demos for me already. And I'm piggybacking on that. We have a John Bush Anthrax show at Milwaukee Metal Fest in June. I'm currently working on a album for a band out of New York City called Another Demon, which is some really, really good thrash. And I'm done with 8 songs. I have 2 left. I'm recording that right out there.
I was just going to ask you,
Yep.
You're recording your tracks in-house?
Right here. I'm self-contained now, so I can do it all here, which is great. I'm doing that. I just did 3 songs for another couple kids, because they are like in their 20s, you know, big Shadows Fall fans, and they're like, oh, we would love to have you play on our stuff. I'm like, hey, send it over. So I'm doing that. I have my rock camp coming up in a couple months in Woodstock over the summer that we did last year. A couple other things happening over the summer I can't really talk about yet because they're not announced. And then we'll see what happens in the fall.
Cool.
I've got a line on another album I might be doing too later on this year, but I don't want to say anything because we have not signed a contract or locked it in yet, so I don't want to
jinx anything.
I don't want to jinx it. I've been really lucky that I've been getting a lot of session work this year. Last year and this year. I did the Heathen album last year that'll be coming out this year. So it's just I've been lucky that I've been getting work coming down. Like if I'm not on the road, you know, that means I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
So the only way I, you know, make a living is by teaching and doing sessions.
Yeah.
So been very lucky as of late that, you know, students are coming through the door and I've got some albums to do too.
Yeah.
So
it's nice that you have the studio in-house.
It is. It makes such a difference. It's so much easier for me to go out and record when I want to. Yeah, not be on a schedule. It's got to be done in these 3
Clock's
days.
going.
Because that's when we got the studio. Yeah, but I don't feel like playing today. Now I'm like, do I feel like playing today? I still force myself out there. But last week, case in point, like I told you, like my cat died last week. And I didn't want to be in the studio working on someone's track, but I knew I had to get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, like, you know, fighting back the tears as I'm trying to, like, track this thing going, why am I even in here today? Like, Clerks, I'm not even supposed to be here today. You know, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? And, like, and it felt like every take was getting shittier and shittier. And I just got so mad by the end of the day. I'm, like, throwing the sticks across the room, crying, thinking about my cat. And I bring the tracks in, and I'm like,
not that bad.
yeah, I got the fucking song, though. That's pretty good. You know, I started listening. I'm like, yeah, maybe that animosity and that anger was working in my benefit. But
was that the session with the stick in the wall that we saw today?
It might have been. It might have been. But that was from a break. It wasn't from a throw.
Yeah.
If it was a throw, it would have been in the wall
Straight.
next to where the door is. Yeah. So, but my point is, I had the ability to not go in that day. I could have waited another couple days, but yes, it is nice to be able to pick and choose when I go in there and record because then I can be fresh all the time. I can make sure I'm giving the client the best the best of myself.
Yeah.
Which is that's what they're paying for
Yeah.
anyways.
You're not looking at the clock or
I'm
worrying
not.
about there's another
Absolutely.
session coming in later.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nice.
I don't do lessons or anything on the days that I'm tracking. There's no interference from anything.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, where can people find you? Do you have a website? Do you have what social stuff so people can get everything Jason Bittner?
Facebook, Instagram. I'm on the socials. Facebook is just Jason Bittner, the real Jason Bittner. Instagram's just Jason Bittner.
Don't go to the fake Jason Bittner.
I don't even know if there's a fake one. It could be.
I'm going to start one.
It's fine. all publicity is good publicity. Yeah, I've got a website too. It's just jasonbittner.com, but it's really not. There's really not much on there. I really just use that for lesson scheduling and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to keep it up in years ago, but like I find that with most people aren't going to a website anymore. They're using either Instagram or Facebook to get a hold of you, which is why I just used Instagram or my jbittnerdrums at Gmail. Like that's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Yep. Awesome. I will put those links up underneath if you want to get a hold of him for session work, if you want a music store, clinics, online lessons. And then as the fabulous Dom Famularo used to do with his sessions, he always ended like, give us some words of wisdom. Like in your, it can be anything.
I'm doing Dom's warm-up exercise right now. For your feet.
Like Charlie Watts's.
No, this was Dom's foot warm-up exercise. He was just in and out with his ankles like this. I love Dom. I'd known. Dom was a great friend of mine. I think I probably met Dom the first time in my life. I think I was 12. My stepmother's parents and her family is from Long Island, so we used to go to Long Island for holidays and stuff when I would be with my dad. And used to go to the Long Island Drum Center when there was a few Long Island Drum Centers, not just Dennis is now, but there used to be a few around Long Island. And the Comac one was right by my old stepmother's parents' house. So I remember going in there one day, made my dad take me over, and I'm like, oh, go to the drum store. And in the course of 5 minutes, I met Dom, because Dom was behind the desk, just hanging out, just behind the counter. And I'd recognized him from Modern Drummer. And then Rod Morgenstein, who was just his birthday yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Comes walking out of the back, and I was like, oh, it's Rod Morgenstein from the Dixie Dregs. And I knew who he was from reading Modern Drummer.
Yep.
And I think I still have the autograph that he wrote out to me that day, too. And then 35 years later, we played Japan together. We did a festival there, like in 2017. It was Overkill was playing, Winger was playing.
Yeah.
Like it just pissed me off too because Winger was on like as I was getting my shit together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I had my tech with me, but it was a brand new kit. Like literally, Pearl brought me a brand new kit. Everything was in boxes still.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were gonna get this thing set up in a few minutes. Like we had to take all the hardware out. Like I'm not complaining. They took this shit from the warehouse. Oh,
Here you go.
We want Jason-san to be happy. Oh, I'm very happy. Damn, the rack's in the box still. Okay. So we had our work cut out for us, and I wasn't just going to leave it with him, but I would be like on the kit, like tweaking something, and I'd run over to the stage, and I'd watch Rod for a little bit, and I'm like, oh damn it, they're playing Junkyard Dog. I'm like, I go back. Words of wisdom.
And it doesn't have to be.
I'm just gonna leave it short and sweet. If this is what you think you want to do with your life, then go for it. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy, and I'm not going to tell you it's going to be something that everybody can do, and it's not cut out for everybody either. There's a lot of sacrifices that you're going to make. There's a lot of what ifs you're going to say to yourself. There's a lot of, oh shit, maybe I should have done this way. Why am I not making this? Why am I not doing? Why am I not where my friends are at in life? There's a lot of that shit. But when you have the amazing things that happen, like when Nico McBrain gives you the ride cymbal off his kit, or when you meet Neil Peart and he's showing you what Peter Erskine's teaching him in his own drum lesson 5 minutes into meeting him, because that happened. Like literally, like the first time I went to go meet Neil, Mike Portnoy tells me, he goes, whatever you do, don't talk drums with him. I'm like, I know. Don't bring it up unless he brings up drums. 5 minutes into it, he's on his practice kit showing me what Peter Erskine is showing him in his drum lesson. So I'm thinking to myself, this counts as talking about drums, right?
You started it.
You started it, Neil, so yeah. But when those moments happen, it offsets all the shitty ones. I've spent the last 25 years of my life doing this as a professional. I've spent probably half of that fucking second guessing myself and wondering whether or not I should still be fucking doing this or whether I should just go get a real fucking job. And that's the truth. So it's a hard road, and it's not for everybody. Because like I said, there's a lot of that self-doubt. There's a lot of because society makes us feel that everything is money-based.
Yeah.
And what's how much the financial goal? What'd you make last year? I made $18,000 fucking dollars last year. Whatever the fucking this little number is. Thank God my wife had a good job, you know, or it's like that's why you have your partners and stuff. But yeah, there was a couple years where I made a good amount of money, but I was smart and took that money and fucking saved it.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wasn't gonna make $100,000 every year. And the one year that I made 90 grand, I put it in the bank. So I'd have it when those lean years came and I needed some money. I wouldn't be going, where the fuck am I gonna find it from?
Yeah.
So it's just be smart, you know, and just don't think you're going to become a rock star overnight. Because like I said, I thought I was going to be one at 21, and I didn't really succeed until 32. So
I'm going to be 50, folks. I'm still waiting for my rock star.
I'm 56.
Jason, I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate the pizza.
Absolutely. I appreciate it too.
I'm going to
Thank
put
you.
all Jason's info at the bottom there. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Jason, you're the best.
Peace out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.